Hi and welcome to Friday's live trading. It's Charlie and it is 7:42. We're just in the trading room here, just having a quick look through a few of the currency pairs of the usual suspects. I'm looking at this dollar yen. We got into a dollar yen position yesterday afternoon. We also at the same time got into an Aussie dollar position, so it's quite nice because they were hedged against each other really. Now the Aussies stopped me out overnight, but this dollar yen I'm in with a small position here. So actually I'll show you just for um, purposes. Ignore the other positions that I've got open here. So this was the Aussie dollar. Took a £149 loss. Currently up £130 on the dollar yen. Forget the euro and the other positions. I can talk about those later. But I think I covered those off in my rant yesterday in yesterday's video. But the dollar yen may want to build a position here. So I'm going to have a look at this dollar yen. So I'll press pause for the moment. Just back, and I've been doing some analysis here on the dollar yen, and although it's up a bit, and all right, I got into the dollar yen yesterday on that position in the trading room here with the guys 110. I'm just looking at it now, 110.92. So that yes, that position's up because we're at 33 at 111.33 at the moment. But obviously, I want to build the position. I only got if we bring that up again, I only got a little half lot in on that dollar yen. That's the Aussie dollar over there. So I've got my stop still down at where I had it from yesterday at 110.65. So, but we talked about this yesterday afternoon in the room that I'd probably be looking to build this position today. But in a little bit of a dilemma at the moment because I can see the potential, although overall I see the potential for the yen to go higher. It could do some backing and filling based on the 4-hour charts, which could bring it all the way back down to 111. So I'm reluctant to just put another unit here in and start trading this with a standard sort of stop loss because I can see the potential for it to come down to 111. So I'm having to sit here and wait really and be a bit patient because it's just, I mean, at the end of the day, let's actually bring up the 4-hour chart of the dollar yen and the trend's down. So we've got into this off of these lows here because I've seen obviously some other buy signals. But I also see the potential for this to pull back again within this 4-hour bands here. So because when they're coming off of lows, then quite often they like to do little retests and do little bits of backing and filling, so to speak. So having to be a little bit patient and not just chase this market on this dollar yen because it's not in an upwards trend per se overall. On the 5-minute chart, it looks like it is, but as we've seen, it's not overall. So I've got to be a bit patient now on the dollar yen. I'm watching the Aussie dollar as well, so I'm keeping an eye on that this morning. Maybe for another long as well, actually. And I quite like being, like yesterday, I don't mind being in both of those positions when you've got one hedging against the other. So, at the moment, the problem I have is if I could go in here, I would need to put my stop down at the same level as yesterday's, down at 110.65, in order to ensure that I'm not at risk of just that. What I think might happen, which is the pullback down into the low 111s. And if I put my stop at 110.65, that's like almost what's that, a 60 pip stop, and the risk reward profile doesn't then work out on that unit at least anyway. So I have a slight dilemma here at the moment, and I think I've got to have a little bit of patience. So we just turned 8 o'clock. I'll keep an eye on the markets, and we'll find something at some point. Right, just back, and so I've been talking about buying this dollar yen here this morning. It's pulled back to the levels that I was looking for. Let's just bring this up for you. Hopefully you can see this now. And the level I was looking for was this hourly 20. I see when we come to the daily chart the potential for this dollar yen to come up halfway into my bands and retest these lows in that area. So around about 111.80 area. So that's what we're going to be targeting on this dollar yen. Like I said, I'm already long from yesterday. I'm going to add this position now. There we go. Oops, now I've just put the wrong size position in. Guys, I put the wrong size position in. I think the other position was only a half a lot. So I've made a slight boober there, execution error, but anyway, I've put a whole lot in. But that's okay. So I've put a whole lot in. So let's bring up the account. I meant to just put another lot in, half lot in, should I say. So what I've now done is I've gone and put a whole lot here, 100,000 in. So because I've got to put my stop down at 110.65 where I've got that other one. There it is. So, but I should have only had exposure. It doesn't matter from a risk perspective because I'm always under risk anyway, but I just would have rather just had a half lot in there. Okay, so that's that one done anyway. So let's now have a look at yeah, so that's in. The euro. The euro's been having a little bit of a run here this morning, and oops, that's the daily charts. Go and have a look at the hourly charts. Yeah, the euro's had a nice little run here this morning, but I'm still a little bit skeptical that the euro might just be gradually working its way towards this lower trend channel. So yes, it's a nice jump up, but don't get me wrong, I'm long euro on my open positions on the swing, but that's a swing that's different. You know, you're just holding through everything. So when I'm looking at this on the smaller time frames, like the 4 hourly charts, I would still quite like to see if the euro is going to work its way, you know, maybe into early part of next week to this lower trend channel, and so that's what I'm sort of looking for there. But if it doesn't and it just breaks out and keeps going, then that's fine by me too. The euro, ultimately, when I go to the daily charts, I see the potential for it to break these highs. This high was up from this high. It's a proper high there. That was at 108.28, and this high over here is at 108.72. So I'd like to see those get taken out at some point. What else is there? Yeah, so back to the dollar yen. This is not going to happen today on this video. This isn't going to happen. So at some point I'll have to close this video off because I'm heading away this afternoon. This is one to hold into early part of next week. So these yen positions I've got in. I've got the position from yesterday, and now I've just put this extra added position in. So it's one to look at for next week. But I do have this other potential, and that's the Aussie dollar here. We're at 5 to 9 now. The Aussie dollar's done what I wanted it to do, which was to take a little flush down and then close back inside its bands. Like I said, you know, us guys in the room yesterday afternoon took a trade on the Aussie dollar, and I got stopped out overnight. Like I said, it was only very small. What was it? Minus 149. I want to give it another go because nothing's really changed. I quite like the 4-hour charts. Got upwards facing 50 MA still, just a pullback. The risk reward's fantastic. So on that basis, I like it's a good deal. Risk reward looks fantastic. So we are at 5 to 9. We're going to close inside my bands here, so that's all cool. So now I know very well that if the euro's going to pull back, then maybe this Aussie's going to pull back. I'm not trying to speculate too much. If I get stopped out on the Aussie, then it probably means the dollar yen's going up, which means that the dollar yen will more than pay for any loss I have on the Aussie. So it's quite nice. They're hedged against each other really. If the yen comes down, then hopefully the Aussie goes up, and so they're sort of offsetting one another a bit. So I might as well get this second unit in now. We've only got a few minutes to go on the Aussie dollar. So let's oh no, okay, didn't want to save my units. And oh blimey, it's like a 10-11 pip stop. Crikey, you know, for the sake of a 10 or 11 pip stop, I'll put another unit in there to make 100 over 100 pips. So it's a 10 to 1 risk reward ratio trade on the Aussie dollar, because I'm looking to run it if it's going to go all the way back up to 77.40. So it's risking 10 to make 100. I like those sort of deals. Is it worthwhile having a couple of stabs at a risk reward ratio trade like that? Yes. I'm not going through all of these reasons for that trade, but it's worthwhile doing. But like I've already said, you know, I've got the yen running as well as the Aussie dollar, so they're going to be offsetting one another. If the Aussie flies up, maybe the yen comes back down, and vice versa. So that's how I'm looking at that. So I'm just getting the stop put in place at the moment. So it's 76. So I put it down at the low there. So I now have that stop in place on the Aussie. So I've gone long Aussie dollar at 17 there, 76.17, and I am long the dollar yen, and I got long at 111.19. Okay, so I'll press pause for now. Okay, just back, and it's now what? Just coming up to midday UK. And what I've got up here, I've got the pound dollar up here. So the pound sort of held. It's been a bit sloppy, overlappy today. Not a lot going on the pound, but anyway, that's not where we were at. Let's go to the other markets. The Aussie dollar. It's just sat down here. What did I get in at? 76. Just looking off screen. 76.17 with a stop down at effectively 06. On my platform, I'll show you in a minute. It says 07, but that's because it has to go below 07, so it's 06. But I still think this Aussie dollar's got some. It's a great risk to reward. If it works out, it's a great risk to reward. It's a 10 to 1 bagger. But if it doesn't and it wants to carry on coming down, then so be it. So that's that one. And then we've got this dollar yen. So they're all sort of. I was hoping they were offsetting each other a little bit, but dollar yen's even a little bit weak at the moment. But my stop's right down here, and I do think between the two of them, the dollar yen's probably got the slightly greater chance out of the two of them, but we'll see. So I'm going to be holding these over the weekend because I'm going to be heading out this afternoon, so that's why I'm going to get this video finished off. And so, but we'll see what happens. Let's have a look at the open positions then and see where we're at. So this is the Aussie dollar here. It's got in at 76.17. And the stop's at 07, which, like I said, means it has to go to 06 in order to stop me out. So that's that one. This is the position from yesterday, like I said. So nothing really major going on. The euro, obviously, because the euro's holding up, I'm up currently 15,700 plus another 2,000. Crikey, look at what's that? 17,000, nearly 18,000 in open profits if I wanted to take those. But as per my rant yesterday, you have to stick to your plan. And we'll see. For all I know, this comes all the way back down, and I'm sure I'll get slated if the euro positions come all the way back down. I'm sure I'll get slated, but that's trading. You get into winning trades which pull back, and you can't just bank them just because, and then with hindsight saying, oh, well, it came back and you gave all that back up. Well, that's just the way it is. So in open positions, I'm currently up 17,000 odd pounds. But they're meaningless until you're only as good as your last trade, and you're only as good as once you've banked your profit. So don't get me wrong, I can't lose on that trade, and whatever happens, I'll bank a couple of thousand or so out of it. But we'll see what happens with that one. The dollar yen trade, where are we in here? We've got the two positions. I've got the one position that I got in yesterday in the trading room, and plus this one that we got in this morning, which I messed up a little bit because I meant to put a 50,000 in as well. But anyway, it doesn't matter too much. So that one's in play as well. So we shall see where we get to. But so far, the month of March is looking pretty good. I shall leave that with you. Have a great weekend. See you next week.